Hey guys, thank you very much for stopping by and welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'll be showing you my predictions to the icon swaps for. Obviously, I've seen the statement EA released at the beginning of the year stating that there will only be 3 icon swaps, but things seem to have changed. Obviously, they were supposed to drop SBCs regarding icons, but they didn't, and they also added that FIFA 21 might be released much later than expected. So I came up with the idea that they might release icon swaps for seeing that they didn't release the icon SBCs that they usually drop. So I personally believe that we've gone through all stages and the only stage left is the prime icon moment. So I'll start with the first player. I'll give you the explanations on why and the tokens they cost. So first player I'd go with Jens Layman's prime moment, obviously as a console player. Here he is, Jens Layman. So he's got 90 diving, 90 reflexes, 94 handling, 90 pitch. So it's pretty decent for a card. I'd say he's worth 6 tokens. Obviously, it's going to be interesting with the prime icon moments just for the fact that they're really good and you don't have to price them. Obviously, there has to be 6 token players, etc. And I don't see them giving us Yashin, like no matter what. Like Yashin's just way too good as a prime icon moment to be given. Next up, our second player, we're going to go with probably the most disliked player on FIFA. We're going to go with Filippo Inzaghi's prime icon moment, 91 rated. So as you guys can see, 82 pace, 85 dribbling, 97 shooting, and 66 physical. So to be fair, I mean, his stats are alright. I mean, if you take away that 97 shooting, his card looks pretty regular. I mean, it's not very usable apart from the fact that if you play very close in the box, etc. I mean, nothing to say about this card. Obviously, the card we all don't want to pack. Next up, we've got Paul Scholes. His 91 rated card, I believe. Here he is, Paul Scholes. That's so I don't know, is that his? We're gonna go for his prime card, Paul Scholes. No, it's his 92, my bad. So here we have a 92 Paul Scholes. I think he'd go for 7 tokens. Obviously, the choices I'm doing also reflect a lot on the fact that EA do a lot of interesting choices, such as Zidane going for 23 tokens. So here we have Paul Scholes. So he's got a pretty decent card. I think he's perfectly, like, if there's one player I got 100% accurate, I believe it's Paul Scholes. 7 tokens for a card like that, it's pretty decent. As I said, prime icon players, it's interesting seeing that there's a lot of good cards. He's 3-star, 3-star. So yeah, I don't expect him to be one of the top tiers of the mid tiers. I expect to be him one of the low tiers. Next up, for 8 tokens, we're gonna go with the Japanese hero Hideyoshi Nakata. So wait, is it me or was that 89 and just turned to a 90? Just take a, yeah, it's an 89 rated card, and when you press on it, it's a 90 rated card. Well, that's nice from me. So it's a 90 rated card, Nakata, 88 pace, 91 dribbling, 88 shooting, and 90 passing. So to be honest, he's 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot. His card reminds me a lot of mid Alessandro Del Piero, but just knowing people's preferences and also that him not being a popular card, etc., I think he'll go for 8 tokens. He's got a pretty decent card, to be honest. He's got everything they need to have in a cam, 90 rated. He's pretty decent. He's got good stamina. His strength isn't great, but it's alright. So 8 tokens, I believe, is the perfect set for Nakata. Next up, we're going to go with the Portuguese player that I believe we haven't seen in any of these icon swaps yet. So we're going to go with Deco, his prime moment card. So he's got 85 pace, 93 dribbling, 85 shooting, 92 passing, and 72 dribbling. 4-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot. And for that, just for the weak foot, I think they'll value him the same as Nakata. Even though he's got a, I mean, to be fair, I think even Nakata has a better card, but I'll still take both for 8 tokens. Take a closer look at his stats. I mean, he's got a pretty decent card, but I don't think it should be anywhere higher than 8 tokens, especially than the previous one. Lampard's insanely looking card was 10 tokens. Next up, we're going to skip 9 tokens, or we're going to go with 10 tokens. We're going to go with the Argentinian tank. We're going to go with Juan Sebastian Veron. So he's got a pretty decent card. I mean, if you just give him a +1 pace, that card would just look unreal on paper. 79 pace, 88 dribbling, 86 shooting, 80 defending, 91 passing, 88 physical. So On my SBC account, I have his prime version, and he's pretty solid. So just thinking about how he do, I mean, his in-game stats even look much better than his stats given. So I think 10 tokens, he looks a lot like the Frank Lampard card. So I was like, it's only fair to make them both the same following EA's logic. Next up, we don't have a player. Next up, let's stick to this. Next up, we don't have a player. We have the Prime Moments Icon Pack. I think, knowing that they dropped the Prime Icon Pack for 9 tokens, so I think they should drop it for 11 on the same range as Verone, same price range. As this is like almost the mid between the players, as you can see, we skipped through. I mean, they're necessarily all 90s, so just with the beginning, it's not higher than any great players. So I think if there's a spot here, if we can just drop a pack, then I'll drop the Prime Moments Icon Pack. Next up, I'm going to go with the interesting choice. It's not going to be a Prime Moment player. We're going to go with Stoichkov. With his, no, this is not the card. I'm looking for his left winger, just because I'll explain why in a moment. Should be his 90. Yes, here it is. So the left winger. So obviously EA like to change a bit between players and obviously change positions. Here you have a goalkeeper, striker, midfielder. And I don't think they'll add another striker, especially that with the players we got. So I think if they drop a card, they drop Stoichkov. I mean, his card looks very, very nice. It's much better than many Prime Moments card. He's got 4-star, 3-star, 90 pace, 90 dribbling, and 90 shooting. So I think they drop Stoichkov just to vary a bit within the positions. Next up, we're going to move to the defending side. We're going to go with Javier Zanetti's 93. No, this is the wrong one. So we're going to go with Zanetti's right back card. If I'm not mistaken, here it is. So we're going to go with his prime one. I didn't think that if they will add the card, they need to add up some defenders. Obviously, I didn't see any weak defender that can go for 6 tokens, to be fair. So here you have it. Zanetti has a pretty decent card. 86 pace, 85 dribbling, 90 defending, 81 physical, 88 passing, and 63 shooting. Next up, obviously I'm reading some of them because there's a lot to remember. We're going to go with another midfielder. We're going to go with Sol Campbell. His 85 pace, 94 dribbling, and 93 physical. So it's pretty insane for a defender. I mean, also something that people point out is his passing. I mean, to be fair, you're not going to curve or take free kicks with them or even cross. The short passing is decent. I mean, to be fair, you can just apply something that improves his passing, like a catalyst, for example. It will improve his pace and his passing, which will make the card a nightmare to play against. So next up, after Campbell, we're going to go with a player who I packed and gave away in an SBC because I truly did not enjoy playing with, and I packed 95 Myers. But we're going to go with Larsen, Henrik Larsson. So 93 pace, 92 shooting, and 90 dribbling. He's got a pretty decent card. I packed his prime card, so I don't know about his prime moments. It looks pretty good. I mean, to be fair, it looks much better than his prime card. He's 3-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot. So obviously I put him for 12 tokens, obviously just also because at this stage, weak foot and skill moves really, they're very important. He's got high attack worker, high defensive touch. So like for 12 tokens, Larsen will be the man. Next up, we're going to go with an Italian defender who surprisingly we still haven't seen in any of the icon swaps. So obviously there's a lot of new faces. We're going to go with 94 Franco Baresi. So he's got 74 pace, 97 defending, and 84 physical. I mean, that card looks absolutely insane. He's got very good agility, very good balance for a defender. I mean, his pace isn't great. Just slap a shadow on him, he should be fine. He got 90 short passing. I mean, to be fair, that card looks absolutely insane, and that's why I priced him for 13 tokens. So far, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10. So I don't know if I counted that right, but our last player in this stage right now, we're going to go with Claude Makelele. The reason why I chose Makelele, obviously, is because he's got a great card, but obviously I don't want to go with Desai, etc., or Vieira. I didn't think it would be much realistic. Obviously, a player that we haven't seen. His card is pretty decent. He lacks shooting, but like, he really lacks shooting, so I would not advise playing him as a CM. He's got great passing. I mean, he's got pretty decent overall card, so that's why I valued him for 14 tokens. Next up, we're going to go with 2 interesting players. So we're going to go with a player who was pretty much the hero at the beginning of FIFA, but then dropped. So we're going to go with Gianfranco Zola. I mean, that card looks absolutely insane. we're going to say a couple of Italian players, but if you take a look at that card, minus 25 and everything, that's harsh. But he's got 90 pace, 94 dribbling, and 94 shooting, 90 passing. I mean, to be fair, apart from his strength, heading accuracy, I mean, just, yeah, his stamina is pretty alright. He's not the tallest, I guess, 5'6", so he's pretty agile. If you slap a engine on him, he should do the job perfectly for you. So for that, I value him for 15 tokens. And next to him, I'm going to go with maybe quite an interesting choice. We're going to go with Roberto Baggio, another Italian player. I value him for 16 tokens. I don't want to put them in the same price, even though, to be fair, Zola's card might look, yeah, Zola's card is much better. But as I said at the beginning of the video, just because it's higher rated, and just obviously I just want to take some realistic EA choices that do so. A lot of controversy behind them, but yeah, I place Baggio at 16 tokens. Next up, we're going to go with Paul Nedved. I don't know if they played in the same time, but Nedved over here is 92 rated card. Obviously, he's a player that's very, very, very underrated, obviously. Maybe it's become nationality, etc. He's not one of the high players, but if you take a look at his card looks insane. With 88 pace, 94 dribbling, 91 shooting, and 93 passing with 84 physical, 95 stamina. His strength is alright for a cam. Everything is so perfect about this card that you just tell yourself that it cannot go wrong. Next up, with our next pair, I'm going to go with Georgie Best. So, from Northern Ireland. Talking about Northern Ireland, wearing the Irish t-shirt on me right now. So here we'll put him on the side. So we've got George Best, 96 pace, 98 dribbling, 95 shooting, and 85 passing. So 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot. I'll value Best, to be fair, at 20 tokens. I think that's perfect for him. He's got a really, really good card. I mean, to be fair, everything about that card is really, really good. He's got great stamina. His strength is alright for a left wing. I mean, his only downfall is probably his strength, and it's at 70. So to be fair, that card is pretty good, and I think it's absolutely worth the 20 tokens. Next up, I'm not going to go with a Prime Moments icon card. I'm going to go with the special German card by the name of Matthäus, if I'm not mistaken. That's how you write him. So we're going to go with the 91 rated card. We're going to go with Matthäus. I mean, just to be fair, just because that card looks absolutely insane. I mean, we saw Baby Zidane as 23 tokens, so I feel like they like to add some like baby players at the high end just because they're very, very rare, and I think that in this case Matthäus fills the gap perfectly. Next up, we're going to go with my favorite player of all time. We're going to go with the player who I truly believe deserves one in case we see a Prime Moments card. We're going to go with Alessandro Del Piero. I mean, he's a 94 rated, but if you just saw, he did just put a 93, so I think EA is really bugging. I'll never quick sell his loan card. 7 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. So 86 pace, 94 dribbling, 96 shooting, 92 passing. So I just think Del Piero takes Baggio, Nedved, and Zola. I'm comparing him with Zola, he's much better. Comparing with Baggio, he's much better. And comparing with Nedved, to be fair, Nedved has, I mean, the stats are very close, but then you've got a big gap in shooting, and obviously very big gap in physical. So obviously Nedved and Del Piero, I feel like boss the midfield in this case. Next up, after Nedved, we're going to go with the final 3 players. I'm going to go with, as you saw from the thumbnail, I'm going to go with Pele. No, not his 99. Absolutely not. EA would never do that. I'm going to go with the 92 rated Pele. We're going to go with his baby card. He's got a pretty decent card, to be fair. He's got 94 pace, 93 dribbling, 89 shooting, 88 passing. So it's more of also a fact of having Pele in your squad. And I think that's why EA could very possibly drop him at 22 tokens. So that's why I put Pele as one of my options. After all this is done, I have one extra player that might be just, I'll discuss that in a bit. Next player, we've also gone with another baby player. We're going to go with baby Ronaldo. His 90 rated card, just purely because it's absolutely overpowered. I mean, if you face this card, then you know how much of a nightmare it is. 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot. He's got pretty decent overall card. Last but not least, in my opinion, the players who deserve the Prime Moments card, I'm going to go with Thierry Henry, a player that we have not seen at all in the icon swaps. I'm going to go with 94 rating just to end it with the 23 tokens. This card looks absolutely insane, and I feel like EA needs people to play consistently, as EA FIFA 21 might drop much later than expected. So I feel like they'll just put the icon swaps 4 with it. He's got a pretty decent looking card. And then last but not least, this is where I want you guys to tell me in the comment section if you believe that could be possible. I'm going to go with a player who I believe is worth 16 tokens. So he's not very, very expensive. We're going to go with Gullit. EA seem to love putting him. I'm going to go with the 90 rated Gullit. So here it is. We've got 88 pace, 87 dribbling, 88 shooting, 88 passing, 87 physical, and 80 defending. Obviously, you can argue that he can go for 22 tokens, 23 tokens, etc. But the reason why I personally would say he would value at 16 tokens, just as I said, EA at this point need to do anything to try and keep people players playing. And if that means that giving everyone easy route to get Gullit in the squad, making them play, that I think EA does. So as I said, tell me down below what you think about my predictions. Tell me down below what you think if Gullit can be worth anywhere between 16 to 18 tokens. And yeah, here's the squad. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I've planned this out for quite a bit, but I think that now was the time to drop it, as there was no SBCs dropped by EA. If you're new to the channel, then make sure you subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.